Okay, Wildcats, today we're at journal page 8, subtracting polynomial expressions. Steps to add or subtract polynomials. Step 1, distribute to remove parentheses. Step 2, combine like terms. Step 3, arrange the terms in order from highest exponent alphabetically and constant last. All right. Example 1, find the difference vertically. So we're going to put the highest exponent first, so negative 6x to the fourth plus 6x squared. Now we're subtracting, so we need to distribute here. So that's a negative, and x to the fourth is a negative x to the fourth. So that's negative 1 x to the fourth. And negative times a negative x squared is a plus 1x squared. Okay, so now we combine. Negative 6x to the fourth and negative 1x to the fourth is negative 7x to the fourth. And then 6x squared and 1x squared is plus 7x squared. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, example 2, find the difference vertically. Okay, so we have 1y cubed. And actually, let me step back. We need to put the x first because you always want to put it in alphabetical order. So that's negative 1x to the fourth plus y cubed. Okay, so now we need to distribute this negative 1. So negative 1 times the negative x to the fourth is a plus 1x to the fourth. Now we have an x cubed. We need to leave space for that. So I need to move over the y cubed. Okay, so then a negative 1 times a negative x cubed is a plus 1x cubed. Okay, now negative 1x to the fourth and 1x to the fourth combines to be 0. You have just x cubed and then plus y cubed. All right, go and finish up example 2. All right, example 3. Find the difference vertically. So we have 1x squared plus 1y squared. Now, it says y squared x. We need to rewrite that as xy squared. You always want the letters alphabetically in order, okay? So then plus 3z. All right, now we need to distribute the negative 1 here. So negative 1 times a negative x is a positive x. So technically the 1x is right here, so we need to leave space for that. So we need to move over the plus 3z. Now a negative 1 times, and actually technically x comes before the xy squared, so we need to move both of those over. So the 1x goes right here. Then plus 1x y squared plus 3z. Okay, now negative 1 times xy squared is negative 1xy squared. And then negative 1 times a negative 3z is a plus 3z. Okay, so now we have x squared plus 1x. 1x y squared minus 1x y squared is 0. And then 3z and 3z is plus 6z. All right, go and finish up example 3. All right, example 4. Find the difference vertically. So we have 3m plus 1x plus 3z. Now, we're distributing by -1, so -1 times x is a -1x. Notice I put that in the x column. -1 times y is a positive y. Now, we need to leave space for that, so we need to move over the 3z. So -1 times the negative y is a plus 1y. So you're going to see that you're going to have to do that with a lot of problems is you want to line up the letters alphabetically. And if there's not space for a letter, you need to move so there is. All right, so now we have 3m. 1x minus 1x is 0 plus 1y plus 3z. All right, go and finish up example 4. All right, let's take a look at example 5. Find the difference vertically. So we have negative a to the fifth. Here we need to distribute by -1, so that's a negative 3b squared. But we actually need to distribute to this first because the a squared b squared comes first because alphabetically. So technically that's -1 times, that'd be negative a squared b squared. -1 times 3b squared is negative 3b squared. Now we need to multiply by -1 here. -1 times a negative 8 to the fifth is a positive 8 to the fifth, so that goes right here. Well, actually, I'm sorry. We need to start a new row. That's -1 times negative is, that's a positive 8 to the fifth. The mistake I just made is I was combining this into this row. Each of these gets their own row when you're adding vertically, okay? So -1 times a negative is a positive a squared b squared, okay? So now negative 8 to the fifth and 8 to the fifth is 0. A squared b squared, or negative a squared b squared plus a squared b squared is 0. So now we're left with negative 3b squared. Okay, go ahead and finish up example 5. All right, example 6. Find the difference horizontally. Now we need to put a 1 in front of the parentheses, and we need to distribute. So 1 times negative 5x is negative 5x squared. 1 times x is a plus 1x. 1 times 4 is plus 4. -1 times 5x squared is negative 5x squared. -1 times a negative 1x is a positive 1x. -1 times -4 is a positive 4. Okay. Now we want to combine terms, so we're going to put the x squareds together first. So negative 5x squared minus 5x squared. And I like to shade these out once I've moved them so I know what I have left. So now we're looking at the x's. So plus 1x plus 1x. And then plus 4 plus 4. So now negative 5x squared and negative 5x squared is negative 10x squared. 1x and 1x is plus 2x. And 4 plus 4 is 8. All right, go and finish up example 6. All right, let's take a look at example 7. Find the difference horizontally. So again, first step is we need to distribute the 1. So 1 times 4a is 4a. 1 times b is plus 1b. 1 times negative 2c is negative 2c. Negative 1 times 4a is minus 4a. Negative 1 times b is negative 1b. Negative 1 times 2c is minus 2c. Now we want to go alphabetic order, so we want to do the a's first. So we have 4a, negative 4a. So we have 4a minus 4a. So we've got those. Mark those out. What do we have left? We have a plus 1b minus 1b. Done with those. And then a minus 2c minus 2c. Well, 4a minus 4a is 0. 1b minus 1b is 0. So then negative 2c and negative 2c is negative 4c. try to draw that for a little better. All right. We'll go ahead and finish up example 7. All right, let's take a look at example 8. So we need to distribute by 1. Now, we need to multiply by 1, but here's the problem. These are out of order. We need to put the a, then b squared, then c. So this becomes negative 2ab squared c, and then plus 4ab squared plus b squared. Now we need to multiply by negative 1. Negative 1 times a negative b squared is a plus 1b squared. Negative 1 times 5a is negative 5a. Negative, oh, that's it. So now we want to find the a's first. Well, it's only one, so negative 5a. So we're done with that. The next thing with a is the ab squared c. ab is technically first, so that's plus 4ab squared. So we're done with that. Then the minus 2ab squared c. Done with that. And then we have plus, and we can just go ahead and combine these now. 1b squared plus 1b squared is plus 2b squared. There's nothing else to combine, so you're done. All right, go ahead and finish up example 8 and start working on your HRW assignment, and have a wonderful Wildcat day.